Hello there everybody, and welcome to this feature presentation on YouTube. I am King Mac, your hamburger pal. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to enjoy a hot fresh cheeseburger along with some delicious golden french fries, a tasty milkshake, and a nice soft drink. Also be sure to grab some hot buttery popcorn while you're at it as you enjoy this episode of TTBurger Game Reviews on YouTube.
Did I scare ya? Well, I hope I did. Because even though Halloween is over, there's still some remaining Halloween videos left here on TTBurger88, and I'm your host, Tony, with more TTBurger Game Reviews here on YouTube. I hope I scared you, because I ain't going anywhere and stuff, and the mask is still staying on for a few more times and stuff. And we're back with more TTBurger Game Reviews here, episode 81 here, part 3 of 5 parts following the Devil May Cry series review, ending the Halloween season here and stuff. Now I do have an announcement for that. I know I said in November that I would continue to do the horror theme season 7 or that for this channel, but I have changed my mind and decided that the Devil May Cry franchise will be the last Halloween season review before I continue with the regular game reviews and stuff, because even though I promised, like I said, I was saying it's time to move on to other game reviews and stuff like that and other videos for me to work on here. So after the final part of the Devil May Cry series review, we go back to the regular videos after that. And we're going to be looking at the third game here in the franchise. It's considered one of the hardest games ever made on the PlayStation 2 and let alone the hardest games ever made. And before we get started here, I want to shout out to everyone who has supported this channel for the last 7 years. The review of this channel will not be as big as today. I hope everyone had a great Halloween as well, and I hope you're all doing well, and thank you for the love and support you gave this channel and gave me, because this channel would not be as big as today. So thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Now before we even get started here, with one of the hardest games ever and stuff, let's go to San Francisco, California and check on our friend TTBurger, because he's still here. He's going to be here for the rest of the Halloween video. Yo Jack, you there, man? Still in the Halloween spirit after being done with Halloween or anything like that?
Hey Tony, yo, I am here still into the Halloween spirit. With Thanksgiving coming up, there is still plenty to go around. It is a shame that this multi-part review is the last Halloween review for the year, but we always have next year for sure, with some cool games definitely.
You bet, man. Are you ready for some more Devil May Cry action for the third part here?
Yeah, Tony. I heard that we have a very hard game here for this one. Oh lord, I am prepared for this with the pumpkin flavored popcorn, with pumpkin flavored butter. It is really good, but I am ready when you are.
Oh yeah, I'm ready and stuff too. Before we get started here, let's hear a little Devil May Cry stuff. TTBurger recap, show you what you missed. Took about Devil May Cry 2 with the PlayStation 2 and gave it a 7.5 out of 10 because it was a good game, but it was lacking in certain parts, and the game was way too easy. There wasn't much story or anything like that. And a lot of people did not like the game. I thought it was still decent, just was not as good as the first game. But now we're going to zoom ahead to March 1st, 2005. We're back when I was a sophomore in high school, when this game was big and ready here. We got Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening for the PlayStation 2. There's also a special edition released for the PlayStation 2 a year later. Or we're looking at the original version, it's the version I have. We'll talk a little bit about the special version later on. Now, Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening is a good game, better than Devil May Cry 2, but not as good as the original Devil May Cry. I mean, the game does not suck, it's just I prefer the first Devil May Cry better is all. Now, Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening will be getting a high score, just not as high as the original Devil May Cry. When Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening came out, it was still one of the hardest games ever made. And that's definitely true, because this is just one of the hardest games ever in a good way. There are two types of hard in video games. Hard the challenging way, and hard the frustrating way. Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening is hard the challenge way, and it can be a little frustrating at times, and it's like this due to localization error where the normal became the Japanese hard mode. And it is very hard. I suck at the game where I had to play on easy mode, and even then, it is still pretty hard. So you must use your head and save drives and keep as many red arms on you as you can, but the necessary items and stuff and more. But there are tough fights ahead, so buy the items you need and everything. And believe me, it is a tough game. I almost gave up a few times trying to beat it. Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening adds new features to the gameplay, such as a style selection that you're comfortable with using a certain style such as Trickster and such, and Quicksilver, and stick with it. Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening is a prequel to the original Devil May Cry, so we get to see a younger Dante as a smart aleck and asshole again, more so than the first game. We start off by seeing this cutscene with this narrator who is a key character later in the game, but this narrator talks about how she knew the sons of Sparta, Dante and Vergil. Vergil was a boss in the first game, but we see the origins of Dante and Vergil. Dante is the good demon, while Vergil is the bad demon. We then cut to Dante opening up his shop, which would be called Devil May Cry in the first game, and he is greeted by a man he thinks is a customer. The man, his name is Arkham. He gives Dante an invitation from Vergil by a demonic attack. Dante defeats the demons and his shop is ruined. There is a huge tower that erupts from the ground and clips in the nearby city, which is Los Angeles, surrounding it. Dante senses that Vergil is on top of the tower and takes it as a challenge to defeat Vergil. Along the way, we learn about Dante and Vergil's past, along with learning about Sparta. We meet Arkham's daughter Mary, who is a key character in the story and everything like that. And it's just a way to kill demons. And Vergil, that's all you need to know, because if I keep going, I'll spoil the game. Because there are a lot of spoilers here, and I do not want to spoil them for people who actually want to play the game. The story is actually pretty deep. Probably the deepest story in the series so far, with lots of cutscenes and dialogue and more to enhance the story greatly. Just makes me wish Devil May Cry 2 had this much story in it though. Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening has really good graphics for a PlayStation 2 game, and it's probably the best looking game in the franchise on the PlayStation 2. The character models have a lot of detail to them, and they animate smoothly, especially in the cutscenes. The cutscenes are very detailed as well, and seeing the kids animate the way they do it, and it screams top notch in a good way. The enemies, especially the bosses, are awesome as well, with a huge variety after you defeat them. You gain the weapon like this dual talking sword, this electricity weapon, and you use your quicksilver boots to some of the stuff like that. And your electricity weapon is like a guitar that Dante uses, which is really cool. And the blood and weapon effects all kick ass indeed, very nice. The environments all look very decayed with a gothic style to them. The frame rate is nice and smooth. There are some small slowdown, but nothing that is noticeable. Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening shines in sound department for the most part, but not completely though. The voice acting is okay, but nothing top notch. Sure, Dante and Vergil steal the show and are the best voice actors, with Dante's famous lines like, "This party's getting crazy!" Sure, Mary sounds good, but the villains just sound too monotone, overly the top, sounding way too hard to sound evil, and it sounds scripted and forced at times. The music is badass. I love the rock mix during the fights with the enemies. The other music though comes off as kinda generic, like I have heard these before from somewhere. The weapons sound the same as last time, nothing new with that there. The enemy grunts and stuff sound decent, to say the least. Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening, and the gameplay aspect is better than Devil May Cry 2, but there's some frustration that prevents it from being as good as Devil May Cry. For starters, the goods. This game plays and feels like Devil May Cry, considering that Devil May Cry 2 was a huge easy cakewalk that got boring at times, where it turned into a button masher, where you could just use Dante's pistols and see a story daggers and kill the enemies and call it a day. Here, Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening requires you to use your head, because you will not just be trying to defeat the enemies, you will also be solving puzzles where you will have to find items to open the door, and matching the right pictures on a wall to open the door, or so on and so on. Like I said, this is a very challenging game, so do not bother spamming buttons like last time. You can use your head because this is very hard, not just with the enemy AI, but the puzzles as well, especially since certain times to progress to the next area are hidden very well and can easily be missed. The shop is back again, similar to Devil May Cry, where you buy new sets of moves instead of just leveling up your weapons and more. But items increase in price every time you buy them once again, which does suck. The Devil Trigger here is back again, and it's badass and cool once again. Every time you beat a boss, for the most part, you get their weapon, which will really come in handy. If you die 3 times, you unlock an easy mode, which is the Japanese normal mode, which is easier with less cheap deaths, but still pretty difficult and challenging, but frustrating at times as well. Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening has 20 missions, which for a first time playthrough, you will die a lot if you will not know what you're doing. It'll take time to get through the game due to the difficulty of the gameplay aspect. Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening is a great game, better than Devil May Cry 2, but Devil May Cry was still better, and I will tell you why in the TTBurger negatives. The difficulty is really high and tough, especially for newcomers, where it's easy to get lost and confused and miss items and stuff. Enemy AI is brutal at times, especially how they gang up on you and kill you in a matter of seconds, so to show you have lots of vital stars, small and large, and have a lot of gold orbs and blue orbs help you out as well, and have a lot of red orbs. Dante's personality can be unlikable at times due to his cockiness and how he mocks everyone is not really interesting at times. He's an asshole. Due to the difficulty of the game, the missions can go on longer than expected. There's no second playable character like last time. You have multiple different styles that are interesting on paper, but you will not want to switch between the 4 default ones. A new one's fine if you know which one you want to use as a trickster and stuff, which is the most balanced of the bunch. Vergil seems underdeveloped at times. Mary is also likable in the beginning, but she grows a heart later on. Some some of the weapons are a little underpowered at times, a lot of backtracking more so than in the first game. Now I'll talk a little bit about Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening Special Edition, which is the greatest hits version that came out a year later, which was pretty much a budget price game for only $20. I'll talk about that now. It's not worth the $20 if you already own the original version. Sure, the difficulty is toned down to make it easier, but if you master the original version, you don't need to buy it, especially since a lot of the extras are not worth it, such as playing as Vergil and such are not really worth the price to buy the game again. That's all negatives I have though. Final thoughts, if you like Devil May Cry, and you were a fan of Devil May Cry 2, Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening should not disappoint at all. It is really challenging though, and if you want to see Dante's origins, I definitely recommend checking it out. And if you want a big challenge, definitely recommend Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening. Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening gets an 8 out of 10. Sure, it's not the highest score, and no people are not going to like that I gave this game a lower score than the original game, but the original game was better. But it's better than Devil May Cry 2. And if you want a challenge, this is the way to go for sure. Hey Jack, you there? What are your thoughts on Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening?
Tony, I see why I gave it an 8 out of 10. The really high difficulty and a lot of backtracking and more. I see why you prefer the original Devil May Cry over this game, but at least it is slightly better than the Devil May Cry 2, that is for sure.
Yeah, dude, definitely. I mean, I did not hate the game. I enjoyed it, just Devil May Cry was better.
For sure, Tony. So what is coming up next for the Devil May Cry series review?
Well, Jack, here's a TTBurger sneak peek right now to show everyone what is next.
You're on the PlayStation 3 now with a new character there, not Dante.
Yes, that's correct, Jack. This is Devil May Cry 4 for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, starring a new character called Nero that takes place chronologically after Devil May Cry. Dante's back with Trish too, but you mainly play as Dante's nephew, Nero.
Ah, very cool. I need to know how that game is. I cannot wait.
For real, bro, definitely. But you want to know the rating, you'll have to wait for the next part of Devil May Cry for the franchise here. We look at Devil May Cry 4 to find out how the game is.
Sounds like a plan, Tony, but I must go now. Jacqueline and I grew some pumpkins in the backyard, and we need to check on them to see how they're doing. So until next time, Tony, see you then.
You too, Jack. Alright everyone, stay tuned for the next part. We're going to look at Devil May Cry 4 for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. How does it fare? Find out next. All I gotta say is Tony, peace out, have a great day, see you all in the next part.
I am a hunter, rob and fill the demons in hunger. I am the thunder, I command the masses in number.